welcome, weary travelers, to a realm where the stars whisper secrets to the night and dreams dance upon the moon's silver beams. Close your eyes and let the gentle breeze of imagination carry you away to a world where the jungling's whispers weave tales of wisdom and wonder. Tonight, under the canopy of stars, we embark on a journey through the heart of a dense, whispering jungle where ancient trees stretch towards the heavens, and the air hums with the secrets of old. Here, amidst the shadows and moonlight, a story unfolds. A story of a lion, a parrot, and the power of tales to calm tempests and soothe restless souls. So, my friends, settle in, surrender to the lullaby of the night, and let the tale, let the power of persuasion guide you into a tranquil slumber, for within its words lies the promise of wisdom, the embrace of peace, and the magic of dreams. Close your eyes now and let the journey begin. Chapter 1: The Pact of Twilight. Once upon a time, in the heart of a dense, whispering jungle, where the trees stretched their limbs towards the heavens, and the air hummed with the secrets of old, there reigned the lion. King Roar he was called, for his roar was as thunderous as the storms that swept across the lands, echoing fears and warnings to the hearts of all who heard it. His mane glimmered like the golden sun, and his eyes held the depths of the wisdom and the shadows of the dominion he ruled. But a shadow had fallen upon King Roar's heart. A nearby village, expanding ever closer to the edges of his realm, had stirred a fierce tempest within him. He encroached upon the lairds. He declared one twilight, his voice booming across the jungle, sending a shiver through the canopy. "We take what is not theirs to take. It is time I teach them the might of King Roar. When the moon is next full, I shall unleash my wrath upon the village." The animals of the jungle trembled, for they knew the might of their king and the depth of his fury. But amongst them fluttered a single beacon of hope, a clever parrot named Zazu, whose feathers shone with the hues of the emerald leaves touched by sunlight. Zazu, with a wit as sharp as the thornbush and a heart as vast as the jungle, conceived a plan to save the village and calm the tempest within King Roar. As night draped its velvet cloak over the jungle, Zazu flew to the mighty King Roar, who lay restlessly beneath the ancient baobab tree, his thoughts as tumultuous as a stormy sea. "Great King Roar," Zazu began, his voice steady despite the fluttering of his heart, "we come before you with a proposition, one that I hope will illuminate the wisdom of patience and the power of stories." King Roar's interest was piqued, for never before had a creature dared approach him with a proposition in the heart of night. "Speak, feathered one," he commanded, his voice a low rumble like distant thunder. Zazu took a deep breath, the cold night air filling his lungs. "Each night, until the moon is full once more, allow me to regale you with tales from our kingdom. Tales of wit, wisdom, and lessons learned. In exchange, I ask that you hold your decree against the village to listen and reflect upon these stories." The jungle held its breath, the leaves still, and the night creature silent, as King Roar contemplated. The idea of a challenge intrigued him. A battle of wits unlike any he had faced. "And why should I agree to your proposal, clever Zazu?" King Roar inquired, his gaze piercing. because within these tales lies the essence of true strength and leadership, Zazu replied, his voice unwavering. The strength does not destroy but protects. Leadership that unites rather than divides. Grant me this chance, and perhaps we might find a solution that brings peace to all the kingdom. King Roar, moved by the sincerity in Zazu's plea and curious about the tales he promised, nodded slowly. Very well, Zazu. You shall have your chance. Begin your tales this very night. But be warned, should these stories fail to enlighten, nothing will stop my wrath. And so, under the watchful eyes of the stars, a pact was made between the fiercest of kings and the cleverest of parrots, a pact that promised the dawn of understanding or the twilight of despair. And with the jungle as their witness, Zazu began his first tale, a tale that would ignite the spark of change in the heart of a king. Under the watchful gaze of the moon, Zazu began his tale. Then a part of our vast jungle, where the grass whispers secrets to the dawn, lived a hare, as quick in thought as he was in step. This hare, you see, found himself often in the shadow of a cunning fox. King Roar listened, his interest piqued by the promise of a tale of cunning. The fox, certain of his wit, declared to the jungle that the hare would be his meal by sunset. But the hare, hearing of the fox's plan, devised a scheme of his own. He approached the fox and challenged him to a race, proposing that if he won, the fox would vow to leave him in his kingdom peace forevermore. The fox, amused and confident in his victory, agreed, asking the hare to mark the end of the race. The hare led the fox to a deep, wide river. Climbing the race would end on the opposite bank. The fox, seeing no bridge or stepping stones, scoffed at the hare. "How do you propose to cross?" The hare pointed to a line of stones just beneath the water's surface, visible only to the keenest of eyes, and declared, "But with an agility, friend fox." As the race began, the hare leapt from stone to stone, barely touching the water. The fox, eager to catch the hare, leapt too, but failed to see the slippery moss covering the stones. With each leap, he slipped and fell, splashing into the river, while the hare reached the far bank with ease. King Roar chuckled, a sound like rolling thunder under a clear sky. And what did the fox learn from his wet folly? He asked, his interest clearly captured. Roar learned, great king, that brute force and confidence might lead one to underestimate their opponent. That true wit lies not in underestimating others, that in understanding and respecting their strengths and using one's own wisely. Zazu concluded, his eyes gleaming with the wisdom of the tale. King Roar fell silent, pondering the hare's cunning. The story, simple yet profound, stirred something within him, a seed of understanding that began to take root. As the night deepened and the stars cast their silver glow upon the world, King Roar lay beneath the ancient baobab, the tale of the clever hare echoing in his thoughts. For the first time in many moons, he found himself questioning a path of strength and dominion he had always known. So, he began, his voice softer, like the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze. My tale has woven a new thread of thought within me. I've ruled with roar and tooth, with claw and might. Yet, the hare's victory was not of strength, but of wit and foresight. Zazu, perched above, felt a flutter of hope. Great king, he replied, there is strength in knowing when to use wind's might, in vain to seek the path of wisdom. Just as the jungle thrives not on the strength of the lion alone, but on the harmony of all its creatures. King Roar pondered Zazu's words, the night's quietude offering a rare moment of peace for reflection. Perhaps, he mused, where is harder ruling than the fear instilled by my roar? Perhaps there is strength in unity, in understanding the varied voices of my kingdom. The words felt foreign yet fitting, like a path long obscured by the underbrush, now slowly revealing itself to him. Tell me another tale, Zazu, King Roar requested, a newfound curiosity lighting his gaze. Share with me the wisdom of the jungle, that I might learn from its vastness. And so Zazu, the eloquence of a born storyteller, began to weave the next tale, one of an old elephant whose whiskey saved the jungle from despair. In the hush that followed King Roar's request, Zazu began his next tale. In the deepest part of the jungle, where the trees hold the sky and the earth breathes with life, there lived an old elephant, wise and revered by all. His name was Eldar, and he carried the memory of the jungle in his heart. One year, a great drought befell the jungle, drying rivers and withering trees, casting a shadow of despair over all the creatures. As thirst clawed at the hearts of the animals, fear began to spread, for the jungle had never known such a plight. Eldar, seeing the suffering of his king, knew that something must be done. He called upon all the animals, from the smallest ants to the mightiest tiger, to gather beneath the baobab tree where King Roar now rests. The animals, driven by desperation, heeded Eldar, forming a council beneath the moon's watchful eye. We must unite, Eldar proclaimed, his voice resonant and calm. This drought seeks to divide us, to conquer us through fear and despair, but together we possess the strength to overcome it. King Roar listened, the parable not lost on him, his guns reflecting the flickering light of realization. Eldar proposed a plan to seek the hidden springs known only to the elders of the jungle, springs that lay deep within the earth, untouched by the drought. But to reach them, each animal would need to contribute, to share their strength and wisdom for the greater good. The journey was arduous, fraught with challenges that tested their unity. The lion offered his strength, the birds their sight, the ants their perseverance. Together they traversed the jungle, their spirits bound by a common purpose. Then they reached the hidden springs. It was the collective effort of all the animals that unveiled the water clear and pure, a gift from the heart of the jungle. And it was then that the animals realized the truth in Eldar's wisdom. That unity, not the might of one, but the strength of all, was their greatest ally against the trials of life. King Roar, moved by the story, saw a reflection of his own realm in Eldar's jungle. Zazu, he whispered, a softness in his voice that mirrored the breaking dawn. I see now the folly of my ways. Strength lies not in dominion over others, but in the harmony between them. Just as Eldar led his kin to salvation, so too must I lead with wisdom and unity. As the first rays of dawn filtered through the jungle canopy, casting a golden glow over the kingdom, King Roar and Zazu, the unlikely comrades, stood at the precipice of a new day and a new understanding. Zazu, King Roar began, his voice a gentle rumble. Your tales have opened my eyes to a truth I had long ignored. The The strength of a king lies not in the fear he instills, but in the respect he earns, not in rule alone, but in leading together. Zazu nodded, his heart swelling with hope. The great king, the jungle thrives on balance. Just as the tales have shown, wisdom, unity, and compassion forge the strongest bonds. Your leadership, guided by these virtues, will usher in an era of peace, prosperity for all. King Roar looked out over his kingdom, the jungle alive with the sounds of mourning. I vow, from this day forth, to protect not just my realm, but all who dwell within it. To be a king not of fear but of wisdom. Zazu, will you stand by me as my advisor to ensure this path of unity and peace? With honor, great King Zazu replied, pride shining in his eyes. Together we shall weave a tapestry of harmony for the jungle, a legacy that will be remembered through the ages. And so, under the watchful gaze of the rising sun, a new chapter began for the jungle kingdom, a chapter of unity, wisdom, and peace, guided by the tales of a clever parrot and the heart of a wise king. The animals of the jungle, once fearful of the wrath of King Roar, now rejoiced in the dawn of a new era, one where their voices would be heard and their lives cherished. The village too found a newfound peace with the jungle, as King Roar extended the branches of friendship and understanding. And in the nights that followed, the jungle hummed with tales of the wisdom of a parrot and the transformation of a king, tales that would echo through the trees and into the hearts of all who lived beneath their boughs. Thus concludes the tale of Parrot, Persuasion, a story of change, wisdom, and the power of unity. A reminder that even the fiercest of hearts can learn to beat in rhythm with the world around it, guided by the gentle wisdom of stories and the courage to listen. Chapter 2: Whispers of Wisdom. In the newfound era of peace and wisdom under King Roaring reign, the jungle thrived like never before. Yet the king, ever thirsty for knowledge that did further unite and enrich his kingdom, sought out Zazu for another tale of the jungle was ancient wisdom. Zazu, my trusted advisor, King Igor began, his voice echoing softly through the royal den. Although my army of our kingdom grows, yet I yearn for more tales to guide my paw. Share with me another story, one that might teach us the virtue of Tao. Zazu, perched upon a branch that stretched gracefully into the den, fluttered his feathers in acknowledgement. Great king, he said, now I know just the tale. A story of patience and persistence of a turtle whose trial through time teaches us all a profound lesson. And so, under the canopy that danced with dappled sunlight, Zazu began his tale. In the days when the world was young, and the jungle was a vast, untamed garden, there lived a turtle named Tama. Tama was not swift, nor was he strong in the manner of predators or towering giants of the jungle. What he possessed was a heart steadfast and a will unyielding. One day, a great challenge befell Tama. A monsoon, fierce and unrelenting, ravaged the jungle, scattering the animals and tearing at the very roots of their home. When the skies finally cleared, Tom found himself far from his familiar streams on the edge of a vast and barren land that stretched beyond sight. Determined to return to his home, Tama set his mind to cross this vast expanse. Many animals, swift and strong, scoffed at Tama's resolve. "It would take you a lifetime, Tama," they cheered, for they could not fathom triumph in the face of such adversity. Undeterred, Tama began his journey. Each day, he moved but a small distance, his pace steadying, and his spirit undimmed. Days turned to weeks, and weeks to months. The sun scorched the earth, and the winds howled their mockery, yet Tama pressed on, his eyes fixed on the distant green that signified home. Then scenes changed, and the barren land began to bloom, touched by Taroas and Siva's Parrot. Flowers sprouted in his wake, and trees arched across the sky, a testament to the power of persistence. The animals who had once mocked him now watched in awe, for Tama was transforming the very world beneath his feet. Years passed, and Tama, aged and wise, finally reached the edge of the jungle he called home. He looked back upon the path he had created, a vibrant trail of life through a once desolate land, and knew that his journey had been about more than just returning home. It was a journey of transformation, of proving that time, coupled with patience and persistence, can overcome the greatest of obstacles. Now sat in contemplation, moved by the tale of Tama the Tumnatako. "Mhezu," he said after a moment, "Mama's journey teaches us that the passage of time, when embraced with patience and perseverance, holds the power to change the world. Nurture to carry this mistake. Nurture." And so the tale of time in this trial became a beacon of wisdom for the kingdom, a reminder that the virtues of patience and persistence are allies in the face of any challenge, guiding them through the ebb and flow of time with grace and determination. As the days blossomed into the fullness of time, the jungle whispered tales of old and new, of wisdom shared under the watchful eye of the moon and the sun's golden gaze. King Roar, now a beacon of wisdom and strength, nurtured his kingdom with the patience of Tama the turtle, guided by the tales Zazu shared. Yet the wheel of time turns, and with it, new challenges arose, not just for the king, but for his advisor, the clever Zazu. One bright morning, as Zazu flitted through the jungle, rehearsing a new tale for King Roar, a shadow slithered in silence. A snake, ancient and cunning, with scales that shimmered like the jewels of the night sky, lay in wait, its eyes cold and calculating, fixed upon Zazu. "Ah," the king's advisor. The snake hissed, its voice a whisper of leaves against stone. "What wisdom do you carry today, little bird?" Zazu, caught by surprise, felt the grip of peril tighten around his heart. Yet, he knew that to succumb to fear was to invite defeat. Drawing upon the tales of wisdom, and what he had shared with King Roar, Zazu replied, "The wisdom to your serpent is knowing that every creature, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, holds a world within them, a store with truth." The snake, intrigued, coiled closer. "And what truth do you hold, Zazu? What lesson could you possibly teach me?" Zazu, his mind racing like the river rapids, saw his chance. "The lesson of the mirror," he said, his voice steady. "For in each of us, there is a reflection of the other. Show me kindness, and I will reflect it back tenfold. Show me malice, and the mirror shatters, leaving us both in darkness." The snake, pausing, pondered Zazu's words. And how do you propose to reflect kindness to me, bird? It asked, skepticism woven through its hiss. Zazu, seizing the moment, replied, by offering you a story, one that has not yet been told to the king. A story of a snake, wise and ancient, who understood the power of patience and the virtue of seeing beyond the immediate hunger to the feast of knowledge that patience brings. The snake. Vanity, tickled by Zaz's quick thinking, agreed. Very well, Zazu. Share this tale, and if I find wisdom in your words, you shall fly free. And so Zazu told a tale woven from the threads of the moment, a story of a snake who, by sparing a mouse, learned of the hidden grove where fruits of wisdom grew. These fruits, once consumed, granted the snake a vision that stretched far beyond the jungle and to the heart of the universe itself, revealing the eternal life of all life. The snake, moved by the tale on seeing the reflection of itself in Zazu's words, released the parrot. Fly free, Zazu, it said. For in your tale, I have seen a glimmer of truth. That wisdom is the true friend and patience its worthy pursuit. Zazu, hot lit with relief and gratitude, took to the sky, the peril averted to the power of wit and the wisdom of stories. And as he flew back to King Roar, he knew this tale, the one born of peril and cunning, would be one to share beneath the baobab tree, a testament to the power of wisdom to transform and transcend. In the heart of the jungle, where whispers of wisdom floated like leaves on the wind, King Roar sat beneath the ancient baobab tree, his mane catching the golden rays of the setting sun. Zazu, perched above, feathers aglow with the hues of twilight, readied himself to share another tale, one inspired by his recent dance with danger. Great King, Zazu began, his voice carrying the warmth of the evening breeze. But today, I bring you a tale, not of peril, but of joy. A story that reminds us to find laughter and happiness in the simplicity of our days, even for those whose nature it is to be feared. King Roar, intrigued by the shift from tales of wisdom and cunning to one of mirth, nodded for Zazu to continue. Once upon a time, in a corner of the jungle seldom explored by those who walk on four legs, lived Hare, the hyena. Known throughout the land for her haunting laughter, Hera was often misunderstood. Many believed her mirth to be a mask from malice, a predator's ploy. Yet, the truth was far simpler and far more profound. Hare knew the secret of true happiness. It was not in the hunt, nor in the spoils of victory, but in the beauty of the world around her. She found joy in the dance of the fireflies at night, in the melody of the rain tapping upon the leaves, and in the vibrant colors of the flowers that bloomed with the kiss of the moon. One day, as Hera roamed the edges of the jungle, she stumbled upon a gathering of animals, all wearing faces burdened with the weight of the world. "Why do you look so glum?" Hera asked, her voice tinging with genuine curiosity. The animals, taken aback by her approach, shared their woes. The river had been quiet, the fish scarce. The trees bore less fruit, and the ground was harder to dig. Life, it seemed, had become a constant struggle. Hera listened, her heart touched by their plight. Yet, instead of dwelling on the scarcity, she laughed. Not in mockery, but in a bid to lighten their hearts. "Look around," she said. gesturing to the jungle that cradled them. We are surrounded by life, by beauty, by moments of joy waiting to be discovered. The river may be quiet, but it still sings a song for those who listen. The trees may bear less fruit, but they stand tall, offering shelter and shade. And the ground, though hard, connects us all, from the smallest ant to the greatest elephant. Ye animals, puzzled at first, soon found themselves caught in the infectious tide of Havard's laughter. It was laughter born of an unshakable joy, a reminder that happiness is not a treasure to be hunted, but a gift to be found in the everyday miracles of life. From that day forward, the jungle rang with laughter more often. The animals learned to find joy in the little things, to celebrate the beauty of their existence, even in times of scarcity. Hera, the laughing hyena, became a legend, a symbol of the enduring power of happiness. King Roar, moved by the tale, found himself smiling, the warmth spreading through his heart. "Basu," he said, his voice soft, "the harrowing story teaches us an invaluable lesson. Even as king, even as predator, it is the joy in the small moments that truly enriches our lives." And so, the legend of the laughing hyena wove its way into the fabric of the jungle, a tale of happiness, of finding joy in simplicity of existence, reminding all who heard it that laughter is a bridge to understanding, to unity, and to peace. And the lush expanse of the jungle, where the wisdom of ages whispered through the leaves and the earth itself seemed to hold tales of old, King Roar found himself at a crossroads. The once fearsome lion, ruler of all he surveyed, now sat beneath the grand baobab tree, his mane aglow in the setting sun, his heart heavy with thought. Zaozu, perceptive as ever, noted the change in his friend. "Late King," he ventured, his voice as gentle as the evening breeze. "What troubles you on such a fine evening?" King Roar, gazing into the horizon where the sky painted strokes of crimson and gold, sighed. "Yazir, tales have opened my eyes to worlds I never knew, to lessons I had not learned. Yet, I find myself in a dilemma. As king, I have been the protector, the enforcer, the ultimate authority. But your stories, they speak of understanding, of patience, of joy in the simple. How does a lion change his stripes, or in my case, his nature?" Zazu fluttered closer, the air around them charged with the sincerity of the moment. "Lo, great king, the beauty of life lies not in changing who we are, but in expanding our hearts to embrace new truth. Your strength, your courage, they are your essence. But like the river that carves canyons, wisdom is the water that shapes the soul, making it deeper, broader." King Roar pondered Zazu's words, the wisdom in them clear as the waters, the youngest heart. But how do I reconcile the lion within, the hunt of the roar, with the lessons of patience, of understanding, of finding joy in the laughter of hyenas? Zazu, now perched upon a nearby branch, looked King Roar in the eye, by realizing that true strength lies not just in power, but in the grace of knowing when to lead with a roar and when with a whisper. Where realm looks to you not just for protection, but for guidance, for a light in the darkness. Let the lesson of the tales not change you, but enrich you, adding layers to your rule, strengths to your leadership. Oi! The words struck King Roar with the force of a thunderclap, resonating deep within his soul. He realized that his fear, the dilemma he faced, was not about becoming less of a villain, but more of a leader. A king whose strength was matched by his wisdom, whose authority was tempered by compassion. As I sit beneath this ancient tree, I see now that the wisdom you shared, Zazu, has been my guide, leading me to this moment of clarity. King Roar declared, his voice now firm with resolve. I shall be a king who listens, who learns, and who loves not just with the fierceness of a lion, but with the wisdom of the ages. Let this jungle be a testament to the power of change, of growth, and of understanding. Name, the jungle, as if in acknowledgement, seemed to sigh in contentment, the leaves rustling with approval, the setting sun cast in long shadows that danced in agreement. Zazu, his heart swelling with pride, smiled at King Roar. Then let us continue to share tales, to weave wisdom into the fabric of our days. For in every story lies a bridge connecting hearts, minds, and souls, leading us to a future bright with promise. And so, beneath the baobab tree, in the heart of the jungle, King Roar embraced his dilemma not as a burden, but as a path to enlightenment, guided by the whispers of wisdom and the tales of a parrot named Zazu. As twilight draped the jungle in a cloak of serenity, King Roar and Zazu settled under the sprawling canopy of the ancient baobab tree. The air was thick with anticipation. For each tale Zazu spun was a thread in the fabric of wisdom that now cloaked the jungle in harmony. That night, Zazu began, his voice a soft murmur in the gathering dusk. Oh yeah, shall tell you a tale of two birds, as different in plumage as in perspective. It is the parable of the peacock and the crow, a story of vanity and humility. In a corner of the jungle, radiant with the hues of countless blossoms, lived Pavo, a peacock of unparalleled beauty. His feathers were a tapestry of jeweled tones, shimmering in the sunlight, drawing admiring gazes from every creature who passed by. Pavo basked in their adoration, strutting with a pride that bordered on vanity, convinced by his supremacy in beauty. In the same expanse of green, amidst the whispering reeds near the babbling brook, dwelt Corvus, a crow of simple, unadorned black feathers. He lacked the splendor of Pavo, but possessed a keen wisdom and a heart content with his modest place in the jungle's mosaic. One day, as Pavo spread his magnificent feathers, casting rainbows upon the earth, he spied Corvus and scoffed. Well, Corvus, with feathers as dark as the night, how do you bear the keenness of your existence next to my splendor? Corvus, unperturbed, replied, Pavo, beauty is but a feather's breadth deep. It is the strength within, the grace of flight, and the joy of song that fill life with true color. Indignant, Pavo challenged Corvus to prove his worth, to show how one so drab could hold any measure of beauty. Corvus accepted, not in defiance, but in the hope of teaching Pavo the humility he sorely lacked. The next day, at the break of dawn, the jungle assembled to witness this contest of beauty. Pavo preened his feathers a cascade of color, while Corvus simply took to the sky, his black wings slicing through the air with elegant precision. As Corvus flew higher, the first light of dawn caught on his wings, casting shadows and light across the awestruck faces below. Then he began to sing, a melody so pure and so haunting that it touched the heart of every listener, bringing tears to their eyes. When he descended, the jungle was silent, not in judgment, but in reverence. Pavo, for the first time, saw beyond the reflection of his own beauty. He saw the beauty in Urvace's flight, in his soul and the courage to be who he was, unadorned yet majestic in his simplicity. Bravo, King Rur mused, his voice laced with introspection. He is blinded by his vanity, unable to see the beauty in diversity, and the strength that lies in being true to oneself. Zazu nodded, his eyes twinkling with the wisdom of the stars above. Yes, great King. It is a reminder for us all. Pride in one's strength is noble, but humility opens our eyes to the beauty in others, to the myriad forms of strength and grace that surround us. King Rur, moved by the parable, reflected on his own journey. Once a lion ruled by pride, he had learned to see the jungle through the eyes of those who shared his realm, understanding that true leadership was not in towering above, but in looking among. Not in ruling, but in guiding with wisdom and humility. The parable of the peacock and the crow thus became a beacon in King Rur's rule, a tale. It echoed through the jungle, reminding all of its denizens that beauty lies not in the plumage but in the heart, not in vanity but in humanity. Under the veil of the moonlit night, when the jungle whispered secrets through the rustle of leaves, King Rur, the majestic lion, and Zazu, the wise parrot, convened in the heart of their verdant realm. This was no ordinary gathering. It was a confluence of hearts, a testament to the journey of transformation and enlightenment that had unfolded beneath the ancient boughs of their world. King Rur, whose mane shimmered like spun gold in the moon's caress, began with a voice that mumbled deep from within. My Zoom, my trusted friend, your tales have been the lanterns lighting my path through the darkness of my own ignorance. I find myself at the brink of a dawn, not of the sky, but of the soul. Zazu, perched upon a gnarled branch that seemed to cradle him in the night's embrace, nodded, his feathers ruffling softly in the breeze. The great King, the night is our canvas, the stars our witnesses. Speak, for your words carry the weight of change, the promise of a new horizon. The lion whose roar once commanded fear and respect in equal measure, now spoke with a gentleness that stirred the air with hope. I have ruled with strength, with the might of my paws and the depth of my roar. Yet your stories, woven with the wisdom of patience, understanding, and humility, have unveiled before me a different kind of strength. The strength to change, to grow, to lead not as a tyrant, but as a guardian of all and watch. The silence settled between them, profound and full of meaning, as if the jungle itself held its breath, listening. It is a strength, King Rur continued, his gaze piercing the veil of shadows, that I seek to embrace, to weave into the very fabric of my being. For the safety of our village, for the harmony of our jungle, I see now that my heart must be as open as my jaws are strong. Zazu, moved by the depth of King Rur's revelation, responded, your willingness still look within, to challenge the very nature of your reign, is the bravest act of all. This jungle, our home, thrives not just on the balance of predator and prey, but on the harmony of hearts, on the unity of purpose. The parrot fluttered down, alighting upon the broad shoulder of the lion, a symbol of their unprecedented fellowship. Your transformation, mighty Rur, is the dawn of that new era. Together we shall pave the way for a realm where every voice is heard, where every creature, big and small, feels the warmth of the sun in your rule. King Roar, moved beyond words, felt a clarity that pierced the veils of doubt and pride. Then let this midnight meeting mark the beginning of our shared quest. We shall lead by example, showing that strength lies in compassion, that power is wielded most effectively in service to others. The night air, charged with the promise of change, seemed to shimmer with possibility. The stars, witnesses to this pivotal moment, twinkled as if in approval, their light a benediction on the noble path that lay ahead. As the meeting drew to a close, King Roar and Zazu stood together, a lion and a parrot, unlikely comrades bound by a shared vision. The jungle, in its timeless wisdom, seemed to need their agreement, its myriad voices whispering in the darkness, heralding the dawn of a new era, and spirit of unity of peace. With hearts light and purpose clear, they parted ways, not as ruler and subject, but as fellow architects of the future. Their steps light upon the earth that had borne witness to their midnight covenant. Chapter 3: The Final Fable. On the lush embrace of the jungle, where each leaf and vine poised with the stories of old and new, a tale of courage and compassion unfolded beneath the watchful gaze of the dawn. The jungle, a tapestry of life, was about to add another legend to its weave, a story that would echo the virtues of bravery, selflessness, and love. Zazu, the parrot of vibrant hues and wisdom deep as the roots of the baobab tree, found himself on the edge of a new adventure. This tale was not to be told, but lived a testament to a truth he had shared with King Roar and the inhabitants of their verdant realm. It began with a storm fierce and unforgiving, a tempest that shook the jungle to its core. Thunder roared like the voices of ancient gods, and lightning split the sky, spectacle of nature's raw power. In the heart of this chaos, a small, frightened chick had fallen from its nest, its cries a fragile thread in the storm's fury. Those sheltering under the eaves of a leafy haven heard the distress call. The ones howled a warning to all who dared defy their might. Yet within Zazu a resolve stirred, a flame that no gale could extinguish. He thought of the tales he had shared of heroes and heroines, of acts of courage that had turned the tide of destiny. But now it was his turn to embody the virtues he had so passionately preached. With a heart brave and a spirit indomitable, Zazu took flight into the maelstrom. The rain lashed at his feathers, and the wind buffeted him from side to side, a leaf caught in the storm's dance. Yet his eyes remained fixed on the tiny form below, on the life that called out for salvation. Reaching the chick, Zazu realized the gravity of his task. To return to its nest was a feat nearly impossible amidst the tempest's wrath. Remembering the stories of Tama the turtle's perseverance, Hera the hurricane's joy in the face of adversity, and the humility of the crow, Corvus Zazu found strength. With the chick carefully secured, Zazu battled his way through the wind, each beat of his wings a defiance of the storm, a declaration of his will to protect and preserve. The journey back was a blur of shadow and light, of fear and hope mingled in the heart of the storm. At last, as the first light of dawn broke through the remnants of the tempest, painting the sky with strokes of gold and crimson, Zazu reached the nest with tender care. He reunited the chick with its sanctuary, its mother's warm embrace. Exhausted, elated, Zazu perched nearby, watching the first rays of the sun touch the wet earth, the jungle coming alive with the songs of those who had weathered the storm. In that moment, Zazu understood the true essence of the tales he had shared. Courage was not the absence of fear, it's a choice to act in spite of it. Love was not just a word, but an action, a sacrifice, a choice to put another's well-being above one's own. As the jungle awoke, the story of Zaskar's daring rescue spread, whispered by the leaves, sung by the rivers, and celebrated by all. King Roar, upon hearing of Zazi's fate, felt a surge of pride and humility. His friend, his advisor, had shown him the meaning of true bravery, reinforcing the lessons that had transformed not just a king, but a kingdom. As the sun ascended to its zenith, casting a radiant glow over the jungle's canopy, the harmony of this verdant paradise faced a peril unseen but deeply felt. Whispers of shadows, of men with intentions dark as the night, began to disturb the tranquil symphony of life. Poachers, driven by greed, had set their sights on the heart of the jungle, threatening the delicate balance that had been nurtured with care and wisdom. King Roar, once a ruler who believed in the might of his claws and the power of his rule, now stood as the guardian of peace, a protector whose strength was wielded for the safety of all. The tales of Zazu, the acts of courage and sacrifice, had reshaped his reign, his purpose, transforming him from a monarch of dominion to a leader of love. The news of the intruders reached King Roar through the network of whispers that tied the jungle together. Birds from the canopy, creatures of the underbrush, all brought word of the looming threat, with a heart heavy yet resolved. King knew that the time had come to use his strength, not for glory or fear, but for the protection of his home, of every life that thrived under his watch. Gathering animals, King Roar shared the plan, a strategy that relied on cunning and courage rather than brute force. "We stand together," he declared, his voice a beacon of unity, not as prey and predator, but as kin. "Our strength lies not in fangs or claws, but in our heart or our will to protect this home we share." As night draped its velvet cloak over the jungle, the poachers crept closer, their steps silent but intentions loud. King Roar, with the stealth of a shadow, moved to confront these invaders, his presence a testament to the change that had swept through his soul. The confrontation was not one of violence, but of valor. King Roar, with roars that shook the leaves, echoed like the thunder of old, led the charge. The animals, each playing their part, created a labyrinth of confusion, guiding the poachers away from the heart of the jungle, herding them towards the outskirts where the village men awaited. Zazu, flying high, coordinated the efforts, a general of the air, aiding his troops with precision and care. It was a dance of shadows and light, of fear and bravery, as the jungle itself seemed to rise against the intruders. Vines entangled, branches blocked paths, and the very air carried the message of unity and strength. The poachers, faced with the might of nature and the spirit of its protectors, found themselves overpowered, not by claws, but by the collective will of the jungle. As dawn broke, painting the sky with hues of victory or peace, the poachers were escorted away by the village men, a promise made to never return, to respect the sanctity of life and the harmony of nature. King Roar, standing tall as the night embraced him, lured a room out of dominates, out of Troner. It was a roar that spoke of change in a kingdom where strength was measured not in fear, but in the protection it offered. A roar that echoed the heart of the jungle itself. And the animals and all of their king saw not a predator, but a protector. A leader whose strength had saved them, whose heart had united them. And in that moment, the jungle was not just a place of survival, but a realm of love, a kingdom where every creature, big and small, felt the warmth of the sun, the protection of their king, and the peace of a home safe and sound. In the heart of the jungle, where the sunnies danced through the leaves and the rivers sang songs of ancient times, a new story was being woven into the fabric of its history. This was not just a tale of heroism or wisdom, but one of an unbreakable bond, a friendship that transcended the laws of nature, uniting lion and parrot, predator and winged messenger, in a bond as deep as the roots of the great Iroquois tree. Fenrir and Zazu, through trials of college, acts of wisdom, and moments of fear, had discovered a kinship that defied expectations. For friendship, born from tales under the moonlight and battles fought side by side, had become the cornerstone of the jungle's unity, a symbol of harmony that radiated through the canopy to the forest floor. The animals of the jungle, once divided by instinct and survival, now gathered in circles of stories and shared dreams. Predators and prey sighed, listened to Zazu recount the adventures and lessons that had linked to this moment of peace. Each story, embroidered with the wisdom of the jungle, reinforced the bonds that had formed, teaching and reminding all of the strength found in unity and the power of understanding. It was during one of these gatherings, under the glow of a full moon, that King Roar and Zazu shared the tale of their friendship. From their first wary encounter to the shared laughter and to tears that had marked their journey, they spoke of the trust and respect that had grown between them. The jungle listened, captivated by the honesty and affection in their voices, seeing in their bond a reflection of the new world they had all built together. Zazu, with his feathers catching the moonlight, turned to King Roar and said, "Mighty Roar is a testament to the magic that exists in the heart of this jungle. It is proof that differences can be bridges, not barriers, and that together we are stronger, wiser, and kinder. King Roar, his mane shimmering like gold under the night sky, nodded. "Mozo, my friend, you have taught me that true strength lies not in the power of one's jaws, but in the courage to open one's heart. A bond unbreakable, and shall be the legacy we leave, a beacon for all who walk these paths after us." As their words settled over the gathered creatures, a sense of pride and hope filled the air. The jungle, once a place of silent battles and whispered fears, had become a kingdom of stories, of friendships that defied the old rules, led by a king and a parrot who had dared to dream of something more. In the days that followed, the jungle flourished like never before. The rivers ran clearer, the trees grew taller, and the air hummed with the songs of creatures living in harmony. The bond between King Roar and Zazu became a legend, told and retold by every creature, from the towering elephants to the smallest ants. It was a story that reminded all of the power of friendship, the beauty of diversity, and the endless possibilities when hearts are open and judgments are set aside. As seasons changed and the years rolled on, a tale of the unbreakable bond remained, a beacon of light in a world often shadowed by doubt and fear. It stood as a testament to the fact that even the most unlikely of friendships could change the course of history, could transform a jungle of strangers into a family, bound not by blood, but by a shared dream of peace, respect, and love. And so the jungle lived on, a symphony of life, each note a story, each harmony a memory of the lion and the parrot who had shown the way. In the heart of this evergreen world, the tale of their unbreakable bond continued to inspire, a never-ending fable of unity, A final story that was only just beginning. In the days when the jungle whispered of unity and the sun shone a little brighter on the canopy, the village at the edge of this verdant paradise began to stir with tales of change. The villagers, who had long lived in cautious harmony with the wild, noticed a shift, a new rhythm in the air that pulsed with peace and prosperity. It was a change so profound that even the oldest among them, whose stories were woven with the threads of past fears and respects, felt a new dawn approaching. The village elder, a wise woman with eyes like the still waters of the jungle's hidden pools, gathered her people beneath the ancient baobab tree, its branches reaching out like the embrace of generations. "My children," she began, her voice carrying the weight of wisdom and the lightness of hope. "The jungle speaks to us not in words, but in the song of life. It tells us of a bond, a friendship that has bridged the divide between man and beast, between fear and understanding." As the villagers listened, their hearts open and their minds curious, the elder spoke of King Roar and Zazu, of their unbreakable bond and the harmony it had wrought within the jungle's heart. She told them of the animals, once driven by the simple laws of survival, now united in a collective dream of peace. "The jungle has extended its hand to us," the elder continued, her gaze sweeping over the faces of her people, inviting us to join in this new symphony of life. "It is time for us to decide how we shall respond, how we shall step into this future that promises a coexistence born not of fear, but of mutual respect and understanding." The villagers, moved by the elder's words and the tangible sense of change that enveloped them, began to speak, their voices weaving a tapestry of thoughts and feelings. They spoke of the fears that had once clouded their vision, of the boundaries that had separated them from the wild. But in their words and the narrative emerged one of hope and the desire to live in harmony with the jungle and its inhabitants. Younged by the wisdom of the elder and inspired by the tales of King Roar and Zazu, the villagers made a decision, a verdict born of collective will. They would extend their hand in friendship to the jungle, offering respect and protection. In exchange for the wisdom and beauty it offered, they would teach their children the stories of the lion and the parrot, embedding in their hearts the values of unity and understanding. In the days that followed, the villagers worked to embody this new relationship with the jungle. They tread lightly on its soil, taking only what was needed and giving back in measures of care and gratitude. They protected its borders from those who sought to harm it, standing as guardians of a world they now saw with new eyes. And the jungle in its ancient wisdom responded. Paths once hidden were revealed to those who walked with respect, its creatures showing themselves to those who approached with open hearts. The villagers found that the jungle provided for them, not just in food and shelter, but in lessons of life, in the beauty of its harmony, and the depth of its peace. As the seasons turned, the village and the jungle grew together, a testament to the power of change and the strength of an open heart. The tale of King Roar and Zazu, of the unbreakable bond that had reshaped the destiny of the jungle, became a beacon for all who sought a different path, a reminder that even the deepest divides could be bridged with understanding and love. And so the village and the jungle lived in a peaceful coexistence, a symphony of human and nature, each enriching the other, each a vital part of a whole that thrived on respect, understanding, and the unbreakable bonds of shared existence. The verdict of the village had been cast, not in stone, but in the hearts of its people, a choice to walk a path of harmony, guided by the tales of the jungle and the legacy of a friendship that had shown the way. On a night when a star seemed to lean closer to the earth, casting a soft glow upon the jungle and the village alike, Zazu perched on his familiar branch, looking out at the faces gathered below. King Wim lay majestically at the base of the tree, his mane catching the silver light of the moon, the villagers seated around him in a wide, expectant circle. It was a scene that would have been unimaginable once, a testament to the journey of change and understanding they had all embarked upon. Zazu cleared his throat, a signal that had come to mean much to those who waited on his words. Nened. He began, his voice carrying the warmth of countless stories told, and the gravity of this being his last. I wish to tell you a tale unlike any other. It is a story of transformation, of the power that lies in understanding and the beauty of change. He paused, letting his gaze wander over the assembled audience, taking in the eager faces of the young and the reflective eyes of the old. This tale, the inside contained, begins in a land not so different from ours, where the sun kissed the earth with life and the moon watched over the dreams of those who dreamed within. In this land, there lived a creature, neither mighty like King War, no wise like the elder of the village, but smile and seemingly insignificant. The creatures, as narrated, faced many challenges due to its size, and was often overlooked by the other inhabitants of the land. Yet it possessed a unique gift, the ability to change its colors, blending into the beauty of the world around it. This gift, however, remained unappreciated until a great challenge befell the land, threatening the harmony and survival of all who lived there. It was then, as Zazu said, his feathers catching the light as if to emphasize his words, that the smallest of creatures showed the greatest of hearts. Using its gift of change, it drew through the land, uniting the creatures, teaching them the value of seeing the world through others' eyes, of understanding and adapting. The tale unfolded with the Dripwan returning, bringing together the inhabitants of the land, each learning to appreciate the strengths in their differences, discovering the power of change and the strength they knew in day. And when the challenge was finally overcome, it was not by force or might, but by the collective will of the land changed for the better, a testament to the power of understanding and the beauty of diversity. As this tale comes to a close, Zazu said, his voice softening, let it be a reminder to us all. We, like the creatures of the story, were diverse, each with our own strengths and gifts. It is in embracing these differences, in seeking to understand rather than to dominate, that we find our true strength. The jungle and the village were silent as Zazu's tale came to an end, the weight of his words hanging in the air like the scent of rain on dry earth. It was a silence of reflection and of realization, a moment suspended in the magic of a story that spoke to the heart of every soul present. Ting Ruar, moved by the tale and the journey they had on. Onatukam rose his voice rumbling like the gentle roll of distant thunder. Zazu, he said, your tales have been a gift to light in the darkness that guided us to this moment of peace and unity. Yet your final narrative be a beacon for us all, a reminder of the power of change and the strength found in understanding. And so, as the stars watched over them, the jungle and the village came together, as separate entities, but as a single community, bound by the tales of a wise parrot and the journey towards understanding and change. Zazu's final narrative, a heartfelt story of transformation, became a legacy, a guiding light for all who believed in the power of change, in the beauty of a world united in diversity and understanding. As the first rays of the sun pierced the darkness, heralding the dawn of a new day, the jungle awoke to a world transformed. It was not merely the change from night to day, it had deeper, more profound transformation that had taken root in the hearts of its inhabitants. At the heart of this transformation was King Roar, who, under the gentle guidance of Zazu's tales, had embraced a new role within the tapestry of life that wove the jungle and the village together. King Roar, once feared as the fierce ruler of the jungle, now stood as its staunchest protector, his strength a shield against any who would threaten the peace that had been so delicately forged. It was a role he took on with a humility that had been unknown to him before, a humility born from the understanding that true strength lay in the protection of others, not in dominion over them. The villagers, once wary of Yunjunglin's heart and its mighty king, now ventured within, not as intruders, as partners in stewardship. They worked alongside the animals, planting trees that had been lost to time and caring for the land that gave them life. And in return, the jungle opened its arms to them. Its secrets and wonders no longer veiled in fear, but shared in a spirit of unity. King Roar, standing tall upon a hill that overlooked both the jungle and the village, felt the weight of his new role settle upon his shoulders like a mantle. It was a weight he bore with pride, for it was a testament to the journey he had undertaken, the journey from darkness into light. Guided by the tales of a parrot, he had seen in him the potential for change. "I see now," Dan Roar mused, his voice a gentle rumble that carried on the morning breeze, that the tales were not just stories but lessons. Lessons in wisdom and understanding, and seeing beyond the strength of claws and teeth to the strength of the heart. The jungle thrived, its inhabitants living in a harmony that was once thought impossible. Predators and prey found a balance guided by the wisdom of the tales, each understanding the role they played in the delicate web of life. And as the days passed into seasons, the tales of King Roar and Zazu became a legend, a story told and retold, a beacon of hope for a world in need of understanding. It was on one such morning, as King Roar watched the sun climb higher into the sky, painting the world in hues of gold and amber, Zazu perched beside him, a parrot whose feathers had grown a bit more ruffled with time, looked out at the scene before them, a look of contentment in his eyes. "You have come far, my friend," Zazu said, his voice teemed with the nostalgia of their shared journey. We have," King Roar agreed, his gaze softening as he looked at the parrot. "And it is a journey we continue together, guided by the dawn of understanding." As the day unfolded, the jungle and the village moved, in a rhythm that spoke of a deep, abiding harmony, a testament to the power of change and the enduring strength of a bond forged in tales. King Roar, once the fierce lion who ruled with might, now stood as a symbol of wisdom and protection, his legacy a reflection of the tales that had charmed not only his heart, but the world around him. And so, under the watchful eye of the sun, the jungle and the village stepped into a future filled with promise, our path illuminated by the dawn of understanding, a beacon of hope in a world where tales of wisdom and change had woven a tapestry of unity and peace. In the heart of the jungle, where the trees whispered ancient secrets, and the river sang songs of old, The tales of Zazu, King Roar had woven themselves into the very essence of the land. These stories, stirred in the quiet of the night, had grown into legends, tales of wisdom, courage, and compassion that echoed through the canopy and into the hearts of all who dwelled within the jungle's embrace. As the seasons changed, so too did the jungle, thriving under the watchful eyes of King Roar and the guidance of Zazu's tales. The harmony that had once seemed like a distant dream was now the foundation upon which the jungle stood. A testament to the transformation that had taken place, not just in the king of the jungle, but in every creature that called it home. The villagers, too, had become custodians of this harmony, their lives intertwined with the jungle in a symbiotic dance of mutual respect and understanding. And in this way, the tales of Zazu became more than just stories. They became lessons etched into the soul of the jungle, a guide for living in harmony with the world and each other. These lessons spoke of the courage it takes to change, the wisdom to see beyond one's fears, and the compassion that binds all living things. The jungle, once a place of silent fears and hidden dangers, had become a sanctuary, a place where the roar of the lion was a sound of protection, and the tales of a parrot with the wisdom of the ages. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the jungle came alive with the sounds of life, a symphony of harmony that resonated in the heart of every creature. King Roar, his mane now touched with strands of silver, stood beside Zazu, the parrot whose feathers had lost none of their vibrancy, as they watched the night unfold. Around them the jungle buzzed with the tales of their adventures, stories that had grown wings and taken flight, soaring into the hearts of those who heard them. "Do you think they will remember us, Zazu?" King Roar asked, his voice a soft rumble in the twilight. Zazu turned to him, a twinkle in his eye. "Farewell, my friend. For as long as the jungle breathes and the rivers flow, our tales will echo in the hearts of those who dwell here. We have become more than just a lion and a parrot. We are a story of change, a beacon of hope in a world that needs it." And as the stars blinked into existence, casting their gentle light upon the world below, the jungle settled into a peaceful silence, the kind of silence that speaks of contentment and fulfillment. In this silence, the everlasting echo of Zazu's tales resonated, a gentle reminder of the journey taken and the lessons learned. The tales of the parrot and the lion became the legends of the jungle, stories that would be told and retold from one generation to the next, teaching the values of wisdom, courage, and compassion. And in this way, Zazu and King Roar lived on, not just in the memories of those who had known them, but in the very heart of the jungle itself, an everlasting echo of change and hope in a world that continued to grow and thrive under the canopy of their legacy. Thus, the jungle lived in harmony, a place where every creature, from the smallest ant to the mightiest elephant, knew the tales of the clever parrot and the wise lion, stories that would forever guide them in the days of life and unending insanity and peace.